The New Orleans Saints capped off a disappointing season with a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And look, the Saints organization has a lot of questions to answer. They have a lot of work to do. First of all, they need to hire a coach, they need to figure out their roster issues, their cap issues, and they need to figure out who is going to be the quarterback of this franchise in the future. Obviously, I think Derek Carr is probably going to be the guy next year, unless they just decide to completely cut their losses. But it's looking more and more like Carr will be back next year. But I think we all can agree that he isn't the long term answer, right? And so that brings up the question for a guy like Spencer Rattler, a guy who was drafted in the later rounds, who nobody really expected him to play at all in his rookie season, let alone how much he ended up actually playing. Now, the question the Saints brass have to answer is, did he put enough on tape that would earn him the right to be developed under the Saints organization, right? And I think that he did. I think that he flashed enough things on tape that really earned him the chance to be developed. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be the future, the quarterback position for the Saints. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when you watch the film, he put some really nice stuff on film, especially for a rookie who probably should not have been on the field playing, right? So let's get into the tape of his final game of his rookie campaign to see, what he put on tape that made me feel like he earned the right to be developed. Okay, first play I want to look at here. This is on a third down, right? And this is just an insane throw. Maybe should have been picked off, but it wasn't, right? And that's all that counts. So the Bucks, they're gonna blitz here. They're gonna have three guys deep and then three guys drop underneath into zone coverage. And the Saints, they're gonna slide everybody to the left, okay? But the problem is the right side of the Bucks defensive line, so the way that the Saints are sliding is the way that they're going to drop some guys out. So you're going to end up with a free rusher over here on the Saints right side. And Spencer Rattler feels this, right? But he feels it and he waits long enough just until there's an opening to Jawan Johnson here that he can zip this pass into. And again, this is like I can't tell if it's a good pass, not a very it's a good pass, but I don't know about the decision on this one because it could have been picked off really really easily. So you see gonna motion this receiver over first. And you can see everybody on the Saints offensive line sliding to the right, except for the tight end who's going to come and pick up this defensive back who blitzes, right? But that leaves 94. I believe it's Kalijah Cansey with a free path to the quarterback. Rattler knows he's about to get popped, but check out when he lets this thing go. He is putting his throwing motion into effect when he sees that number zero has his back turned this way, right? So he's going to zip this thing in there right before zero can turn his back towards the receiver. Boom, right there. And again, 98, this is a defensive lineman, right? You don't really expect those guys to make a play on the ball. So this was a really, really impressive throw from Rattler. Probably could have been picked off just as easy, but, it wasn't. And again, that's all that matters. But just an insane throw with the pressure in his face. You can see he got hit after he threw it. And for him to zip that thing in there like that, I mean, it really is an incredible throw. And even like from the end zone view, it's even more unbelievable how pretty this thing is. So let's take the snap. You can see the free rusher coming in his face, but watch this. Pew! Right there, like a missile. And you can see like how shocked Zero was right here. He's like, oh my goodness, how did I let that thing go right by me? Right? Look, yep. But nonetheless, good throw to start things off from Spencer Rattler. Next one I want to look at here. This is the one to Scantling in the end zone that I still think should have been challenged because I think he had control, two steps, football move, all that jazz, right? But it wasn't. But I like this play, this setup from the Saints offense. So they go empty and they go 4 by 1. So you have four receivers on this side, and that leaves one guy up here all alone at the top. And this all when you go into this formation empty, you put four guys on one side and one on the other, it almost guarantees that you're gonna get a one-on-one up here at the top, especially when the Bucks are playing man coverage, right? You got man down here, um, with the safety down here, and then you got one safety deep in the middle of the field. But he has to cheat over this way, right? Because look how many threats are over here to this side. So it's really creative way to kind of guarantee you get a one-on-one up here at the top, and that's exactly what the Saints get. And I mean, this ball placement from Rattler, this is a you cannot throw a football any better than he throws this thing to Marquez Valdez Scantling, right? Again, takes a snap, boom, throws it. I mean, look at the placement on this thing. That right there is what you call dropping it in the bucket. There's an old saying that you can't defend a perfect pass, and this is one of them situations. Just an absolute perfect pass. And again, like to me, right there is possession. There's one, two. I mean, I don't know. And then it comes out at the very end, but that's after football made. move was made. So I don't know. Either way, we're looking at the throw, not the catch, and not the result. But I mean, the placement on this thing is just gorgeous. And this view here kind of gives a better like angle of is it a catch or not? Which I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But I mean, there's catch one, two, and right there. I mean, that should be a touchdown. But I digress. Next play here, another beautiful throw from Spencer Rattler. This time, Saints are going to go play action against some tight man-to-man coverage from the Buccaneers. You're just going to get the deep route here. You're going to get the fullback kind of coming through to the flat, and then you're going to get the tight end Johnson over here on the crosser. Now, again, this is a phenomenal throw from Spencer Rattler because not only are we throwing this thing from the far hash here, as you can see, so there's play action. We're right here, the far hash. We're letting this thing go, and we have to throw it with enough velocity and power to get it there, first of all, right? But we have to throw it with enough touch to kind of place it over this defender right here to only where our tight end can get it, right? Because you also run the risk of throwing it too hard and it going over the head or getting tipped and being picked off by some defenders or by the defenders that are back here carrying this deep route. So again, it really is just a phenomenal throw. Again, from the far hash with the accuracy to place it over the defender. Good catch from the tight end. And he's off to the races. Really good job from Spencer Rattler and a good catch from Jawan Johnson. This is the type of stuff right here that really makes you think. Like, you can't just ignore the stuff that he has put on tape just because there has been bad also, right? He's a rookie. So throws like this are what makes me feel like Spencer Rattler has earned the right to be developed. And then this one here is just an example of him kind of just working through his progressions a little too fast, right? A little too quick, playing a little too fast in his head. Now it doesn't really end up mattering because he hits the check down for about the same amount of yards as he would have gotten if he would have thrown this thing on time. So it's kind of a moot point, but it's still, him developing, and it just shows that he has a little ways to go in his processing. So, we're going to take the snap, back foot hits. We need to let this thing go to Johnson right now. That's open, but instead he's looking off of it before Johnson is even out of his break. So when we could throw this, he gets off of it a little too quickly. I don't know why the screen is glitching like that. See, he gets off of it a little too quickly, doesn't throw it for whatever reason. But again, he comes back down to his check down and he picks up, a good amount of yards anyway. So doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of the play. But, when that back foot hits, we can let that thing go to our tight end or maybe even throw it out here to Cedric Wilson Jr. if you want to take a little risk. But I wouldn't with this defender squat right here. But either way, he gets, enough yards on the check down, live to fight another day. All right, next play here. This is going to be on the touchdown pass. Okay, so I like the play call here. So you're going to have a middle of the field closed coverage, which means there's a safety in the middle closing off the field, right? And I think the first read here is going to be to Jawan Johnson. So they're going to go play action to the left, kind of roll the pocket just a little bit to the left, see what this safety is doing, check what he's doing. If he kind of falls over here, maybe we can hit Johnson on this post. And if not, we can come back to Pettis down here at the bottom of the screen. And that's exactly what happens. So let's press play. All right, you can see the play action. You can see Rattler's eyes immediately on the safety. What's he doing? What's he doing? He's staying in the middle of the field. Okay, let's look this way, right? Let's look towards Johnson. That's not it. Get backside. Pettis runs a beautiful route on the kind of pivot route right there. Nice. Got to see this again. Check out the route from Pettis. He deserves some praise for this one. Against man. Boop. Right back out. Touchdown. Good stuff. This is the type of stuff you like to see from an offensive coordinator and trying to help out your young quarterback. It's basically two reads, right? Depending on what the safety does. If he stays there in the middle of the field, we're doing what we did hitting Pettis. If he were to rotate over, then we can hit our tight end up here as the first read. But that was taken away, as you can see right there. So nice job from Rattler, Pettis, Kubiak, all the way around. Good stuff. Here was a nice little on-time rhythm throw with some anticipation from Rattler. This is before the half when they were trying to go down and score. Ended up kicking a field goal, I believe. But just a deep stop route from the Dante Pettis down here at the bottom of your screen. But check out when Rattler starts his throwing motion here. See. Right there, he's starting to throw it. Pettis not even out of his break yet. And look at the placement. Right? Towards the sidelines where he can cut up field and get out of bounds. Because, the receiver, I believe, has to be going forward before he goes out of bounds or else the clock won't stop. So, nice job. Again, nice throw with some anticipation there. Good catch, good accurate throw towards the sidelines. Good stuff. Next play here, this is, I believe, a play or two after the one I just showed you. Again, they're trying to score before half, and this is going to be another fade ball to the top to Scantling. And again, this is just another gorgeous throw from Spencer Rattler. I mean, check this thing out. He puts this thing only where the receiver can get it. I mean, look at that. You cannot throw this ball any better, right? Too tall for the DB, just right for the receiver. I mean, he was like a half an inch away from getting that second foot down. So if there's one thing Spencer Rattler does well, it's throw a really nice fade ball. Because again, I mean, look at this. That's just gorgeous. Right over the top of the defender. Another nice catch, just couldn't get the feet in bounds. Next one here, and this is a really, really rough miss from Spencer Rattler. It's not an easy throw to make, but it's a throw that I know he's capable of making. So they're just going to kind of fake the handoff here, get everybody kind of flowing back, and then they're going to try to hit Cedric Wilson on this crosser, right? And it has to be a better throw from Rattler. He's going to be out on the run, kind of. As you can see here. Now, obviously, he's a right-handed quarterback, so anytime you get a right-handed quarterback rolling out to his left, it's not easy. I get it, right? But he has time. He can set his feet properly to make this throw. Boom. Okay, this was on, I believe it was on a third down, if I'm not mistaken. So this was a huge miss from Rattler. And it has to do with technique here. Again, if you're going to roll out to the left as a right handed quarterback, you got to know you have to set your feet and make a throw. I know there's a guy bearing down on you, but you have the time, right? You might take a hit, but you have the time. You have to set your feet and make an accurate throw because if not, you're going to get this an inaccurate throw on third down. And you can kind of see from the next angle, I believe it is, how kind of his front toe, see where his front foot, where his front toe is facing, it's kind of facing this way, and guess which way the ball goes? Behind the receiver. So really more of a technique thing than anything that can be cleaned up. Again, if he kind of just slows down, slows down his process a little bit. I know there's a guy bearing down on you, but we can set our feet and make this throw and pick up a huge first down for our football team. One criticism, excuse me, I've seen from people talking about Rattler is he takes too many sacks, but a lot of the times there's simply nowhere for him to go with the ball, and this one is a good example of that. So, there's just going to be nobody open on this play, to put it simply, right? And you'll see what I mean. And Rattler just tries to do what he can. Um, Bucks just cover three, simple cover three, nothing crazy. But I mean, look, everybody across the board is plastered, right? Nobody's open. And Rattler, he just tries to find a lane and take off, and he ends up getting sacked by Vita Vea. Now, Vita Vea is just an absolute monster of a human being. So, this is more to do with him. He even celebrates right there, right? But when you see this thing from the end zone view, you can kind of tell, like, this is just a monster play from Vita Vea paired with nobody being open down the field for Rattler, and he just tries to make something happen. So, right here, nothing's there, nothing's there. He sees a lane, or he thinks he sees a lane right here, right? But check out Vita Vea just toss Shane Lemieux with one hand and sack the quarterback. All right, and here is the final throw on the season for Spencer Rattler and, well, for the Saints in general. 4th and 10, they're down by 8, trying to make something happen. Looking for Cedric Wilson down here at the bottom of the screen. And it was there, right? The throw was there to be caught, a little high, but it was still catchable, right? So the Buccaneers, they're going to blitz, right? Rattler has to get rid of it now. Again, Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey, all in his face. Lets it go before Wilson even gets out of his break. And you can see, again, the ball, it's high, but it has to be caught, right? And this is just one of those things where you're down to starting guys like this, and no offense to him at all, but not a playmaker, right? These situations, you got to have a playmaker that you could trust, that you can get the ball to. And in this case, Cedric Wilson Jr. is just, not that, right? And you can see even better from the end zone view here what happens. We get the ball out. Literally waited till he had to throw this thing, right? When he did, everybody's in his face. Awful protection with the game on the line, and right there, ball is in his hands. Little high, yes, but has to be caught. So that's going to do it for the video, and that is going to end the season. Spencer Rattler, I think he's shown enough to earn the chance to be developed. But who knows what the Saints are going to do at the quarterback position, head coach, who knows, right? Everything is kind of up in the air at this point. I appreciate you guys watching. Peace.